Since 1989, more than 3,500 people in the US have been exonerated. Over 3,500. And more than 200 of those people were sitting on death row, literally waiting to die. And then somehow they were able to bring forward evidence to prove their innocence. That's a lot, right? And that's just the US. Turn to England, turn to Canada, and you see the same thing. Not everybody in prison, but there are cases, many cases, where innocent people are arrested, tried, convicted, every appeal denied, and then somehow later they are able to come back before the court and they have new evidence, or the system is now finally paying attention and someone says, oops, this should never have happened. This person should never have been convicted. So there's an official process to wipe the stain of the conviction from their lives, though the damage and the trauma of having been wrongfully convicted will stay with them. All across the world, for decades now, people have come to accept that sometimes the system gets things wrong. The justice system does not always get it right. And why would it? It's a system run by people. People are not perfect. You are not perfect. I'm not perfect. Sometimes there is bias. Sometimes there is misconduct. Sometimes it's just a perfect storm. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong. And in the end, an innocent person is in prison. And the person who did the actual crime, they go undetected. Now pause a second. As a Jamaican, when you hear these stories of exonerations from across the world, of people who have spent 10 years, 50 years in prison, and then DNA or some other evidence shows that they never committed the crime, do you ever stop and say, well, what about Jamaica? What about the Caribbean? What about Trinidad and Tobago? What about our country? What about my country, my region of the world? Are there innocent people sitting in prison in Jamaica right now? If there are, what's the process? If my brother or sister is that person, if I am that person, and I've been protesting my innocence for decades, how do I bring my matter back before the court to clear this thing from my life and my legacy? My name is Andrew Wiles, and I have practiced criminal law in Jamaica by defending people in private practice and also working for the government. Starting the 1st of May, I will be the host of a new podcast called Stuck, exploring wrongful convictions in Jamaica. The podcast will ask and answer 3 big questions about wrongful convictions: how they happen, who they impact, and what we can do about them. Wrongful convictions don't just happen in a vacuum. So when we ask, how do they happen, we will have to look at the whole system from start to finish, from how police investigate crimes, to how a case is tried in court, to what happens when a matter is appealed. And we won't just be talking in some vague way like the police are corrupt and the system is broken and things like that. We're going to go into specifics, the nitty-gritty, because there's a whole heap of information out there that identifies serious problems with specific practices that we have in our criminal justice system. We're going to talk about hard stuff. We're going to have candid conversations about race and history and class and justice. Serious discussions about Jamaican legal history, the treatment of Rastas, the role of the church, the power of the media. All of these things come into a discussion about wrongful convictions. And you remember how I started this video? We have to talk about the death penalty and wrongful convictions. While I'm talking to people from across the world, we're doing it through a Caribbean lens. Not just about what happens in the US and the UK and Canada, but what would suit our needs, our circumstances as Jamaicans in Jamaica. And what's the vision that we have of ourselves as a people in our courts, in our prisons, in our communities, for our neighbors, our sons, our daughters, our children? What is the vision that we have as Jamaicans for a system of justice? This is Stuck. I hope you will listen.